Welcome back to ABDEC, this puzzle book with insane twists. I barely even know where to start. First of all, there's some details at the top of this book that I actually needed to have remembered, but of course the biggest thing that happened last part is that there were suddenly these pages that were normal puzzles, and then there were these ripped pieces of paper all of a sudden with symbols I had no idea about. Now I know what this is now, but I really thought I needed to figure out what this stood for and fit it in the grid somehow. I guess I should do that first look. It says it's the freaking ab creatures. I didn't remember that. That's even what it says here. It's like, should be like a duh moment. And it's just like everywhere, but we should do this puzzle first, meaning we need to fit a corner piece and two 1x3s into this grid in any rotation or form. Now I'll need to put something on these spaces, and I think the A needs to be in a very cursed scale for that to work, and that likely means that this B is going to look like this. Okay, but I still have a problem. Like, I need to fit this piece in a way that fully covers all of these symbols and fits in the grid in any possible rotation. It cannot touch this B by an edge either. And this looks horrifyingly impossible. I could be intellectually lazy here and actually say, because B can be scaled in any way, so like, I imagine this, then don't care that the edges of this don't work. But that feels cheap. I don't know. They're just slightly not touching, and look, the symbol is fully filled. I sure hope the answer is not this, with the bees as miniatures or something, because, you know, there's not justification and not unique solution for that. Also worth noting, in the previous video, there was this moment where the C was like this diagonal, and more importantly, it took up space, because of the whole unique solution thing, that kind of means there's some restriction on how the sizing and location of these work. Like, it wasn't a smaller edition of the C that didn't hit the walls, and presumably the rule means that something like all of the corners need to be on the grid lines or something like that. If the B doesn't touch anything here, similar to this actually, and the whole thing is covered by the A, that would be funny. Actually, like, we were kind of close with that already. Hey, does this actually do it? The B would then do nothing at all. It's hard to tell because the angle needs to be so right. Does this feel like it's the right angle even? It's actually so crazy. Okay, I feel like my angle is slightly off, but like, don't these all work out? I'm just gonna draw straight lines, and like, they all make diagonals that go 1x3. So that should work, and it's fine if these touch at a corner. Similarly, of course, the outline makes this B look like it's touching way more than it actually is, but there it is. Okay. But also, we need to do a little bit more when it comes to this thing. So, of course, with that one being ABB, I thought, well, is this EYE, like for I? That doesn't seem to work out. There's no such thing as a Y, and like, what's open I mean? But actually, well, here's the thing, there's two freaking branches of nonsense to go through. What I noticed while scrolling through, it was nice to notice, but I wasn't like recording. It's this thing. Then I got a comment a few freaking hours later, so blast. But here, the page 46 for some reason is a closed eye. And also, I saw there was a dot up here. So 23 is a dot for some reason. That's part of an eye. I don't know if closed eye plus this dot will work for open eye. This is one pun away from making an open AI is actually closed joke. And there's also the question of what is 23 supposed to mean, like the 23rd letter alphabet or something? Which is W, which doesn't mean anything. Of course, there's still like the weird symbols, like what they're supposed to mean. Is it weird that like 39 is like on the same row and column on this, seemingly? They also happen to be a multiple of 2 away from each other, which is weird. It's too bad the dot product joke is too obscure to make into a pun house. Wink. Maybe just a copy? Like, it's interesting this is also 46, right? Like, what do the numbers even freaking mean? They're not exactly the page numbers. They're slightly different. But regardless, maybe this just means copy the AAC. And then this would mean copy the AC? Is that correct? Because the numbers they're replacing aren't the same as the puzzle number. But if I were to take the puzzle number, we would have some recursive nonsense. Because 46 is the puzzle we're stuck on due to not knowing what the eyes are. So if 46 references the 46, we have impossible recursion. I'm not sure. Is this not way too much? Like, actually, if this is a bunch of A's and C's, you can just put anything you want because there's, like, almost no restriction. So I feel like this can't be it. There's wait, it must mean a lot less than I think. Or maybe it means the entire puzzle setup. Hmm. So when I see this, it means the entire solution to a puzzle. Okay, well, AC was just this, which, by the way, isn't a continuous piece of anything, but sure. The other was also a discontinuous mess. Oh, man. How will we survive? So there's something funny about the idea of the puzzle solvers to make the puzzle more difficult, just to parse it. Like, to make the solution unique, they have to make assumptions where it's more difficult. Anyway, how do you handle this? There's so much empty space, things can still be rotated to hell. The ones in the middle seem like the most ridiculous, and, yeah. The fact that there's a bunch of empty space on, like, the sides of those are definitely paranoia-inducing, too. Okay, how about, what if we use the other one? Is this one better? Hmm. I can fit it here, which leaves the other in the dust, but shrink it, I don't know. Is there even a good way to shrink this and put it? Oh man. Oh no, can't fit these. And I have no idea if that means the puzzle's just difficult or like I'm doing something wrong. This gets rather close, but anything that involves that diagonal touching anything is like basically dead. You can see the overlap, of course. I would find the funniest solution for this kind of thing would be if the diagonal was like shifted to become normal and then the rest could somehow ignore it, but this seems very doubtful. It's literally it. It's literally designed to fit this. Hey, look at that! Look at that! Oh my god. You know, I knew like the arrangement of this was gonna be relevant. Oh my god, though. The imperfections of my rotating system certainly suck, and I thought the rotation was gonna look a little bit different for this. But wow, that's crazy and awesome too. By the way, these things are like this particular shape. Both of them actually rotate. Look at that. That's so good. They don't turn to a different shape when flipped. They luckily flip and mirroring didn't matter for that one. That's incredibly cool. Also, now I have questions because, like, why was it just a dot instead of the full eye? Like, now there's no real reason for that, in my opinion. Like, we didn't combine and flip an eye upside down and then grab the bottom portion of anything. So, yeah, I feel like it was a bit of a mislead. It's not even like this icon has, like, eyelashes above it. It's, nah, I don't know, whatever. Also, there's something we need to take care of. Like, I have gotten a comment both a comment on the video and on the Discord that I have that this is something I need to examine more. The situation with the E's. Now, this is worrying to me. Well, like the Discord one is that there's a huge troll with this. And yes, I got lazy, I guess, and like not. I assumed that this was made by just. It's wow, it's terribly drawn. By just splitting B's here, and then there's a giant C. But that's not the only way you can do it, because the B can also be made like this. That is one of them. You can make all the B's like this, and then the C is here, which is that looks bad and crap and makes some stuff below like previous solutions not work, but maybe it would make the puzzle I found unsolvable work. Worstly, there's another idea that I had, although this one is even more confusing. That spends one of the B's, and now we spend three of them in a way that I even said before. You stack three small B's, and like this technically still touches grid edges the whole time, by the way. And you do this, and then here. Although one thing is that this situation is not unique. You could switch whichever one is the B and the C's. They're also disconnected as well, which that's pretty unacceptable for the usual rules, but maybe this is like acceptable somehow. Um whatever joke is going on, I am not sure, but I guess clearly with the E, I don't know. The fact that E was double scaled in a way was like interesting, but maybe it was more than that. I'm not sure, but I just feel like I did something wrong because I still haven't solved this puzzle, and it feels like it's something that people actually recommend that I should know about. Also worth noting, like we just did a puzzle where technically the pieces weren't really connected. Now, I don't know what that means for this. Again, like, does that even relate to this? But that may be pushing the direction that E is not a fully connected piece. I don't know. And we still haven't put diagonals in thinking. I'm not even sure I would think about diagonals being how to make the E in this, but yeah. Well, let's see if we can solve the other puzzle with this disgusting behavior in mind. Of course, I say this with all affection. Upside down, do you work? I mean, no, because, like, the adjacency is a huge problem. Do I really reduce the size, even though it doesn't feel like it will fit at all? Like, it won't be on grid lines, will it? No, that's bad. The shape is also hard to make with other shapes as well. It does make me wonder, though, like, look, this is bad, right? This obviously looks bad, but could you hypothetically, like, fill these in with C's? I don't think so, because that doesn't fix the fact that a lot of these are not on grid lines, these corner points, but, you know, it's an idea. Let's just switch to 38. We can rotate, oh, geez, let's rotate this one and do, wow, that was simple. Does this mean that E doesn't have a shape? Not a consistent one? What is going on with 36 then? What am I doing wrong? There's only 2 rotations, both with some adjacency issue. The flip version. Oh. Oh. Okay. There's B, there's A. Okay, now we got this thing. Now this needs to fit, probably. C cannot fit there, adjacency issue. I think I need to mirror it again, so that, yeah, something like that. There we go. Okay, and C takes this square, while A takes this square. Well, this is not a square, but you know what I mean. Okay, so E was in fact the big cursed one. It's very interesting how I thought E was the big version, and like it doesn't even disconfirm it until 3 puzzles later. That's so insane. And well done. That means we have to do this. What is 4-7 with nothing? Like, I'm pressured to do these now because we only seem to have 4 puzzles left, unless I want to split that into its own video, which I don't know. This 4-7 thing, like, am I even supposed to treat that 4-7 like the 4 and the 7 mean anything? Because this 4 kind of implies there's a shape called a 4. This implies mirrored stuff. But also, I'm surprised though if it does imply mirrored stuff that they're not doing the E upside down joke. Like, come on, and the B D flip joke. Like, come on, times 2. Now, for this puzzle, I believe I know that one. Because if you scroll all the way up here, BA49, that implies puzzle 49 is involved with BEA. Although the 9 looks weird, that's a bit concerning. Like, does that mean something else? And they're not even in the right order? Like, does 4 correspond to BE? That's a little cursed too. I also really remember this thing. It's 1, 2, 3, and then this specific way of doing 4. Now this raised huge eyebrows to me, because it implies some sort of tally system, and also, like, is when you see the number 4, does that mean it looks like this, and you have to put those on the grid? But the thing is, though, if it was just to buy that this means 4, and this is the symbol for 4, that isn't continuous. It's like, you look at this, and you're like, okay, we'll assume that it's like, the 4 means that we put in, which is equivalent to AC, by the way. And then the 7 would then mean doot, 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 right? If this is how the ab creatures count stuff. But then what corresponds to the 4? It also seems like too much. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Let's say that we spend one of these to make a super size. This, like, B. Like, it's literally like a B. And then here, you would spend like there to connect together. And, like, once again, there's too many options. We need to reduce this. Alright, just to test, we will say that this is 4, this entire shape. Then I go to puzzle 7, and then say that's 7. So 4 and 7 then look like this, maybe. If this fails, then I'm not really sure. Okay. So, this obviously means this needs to be extended to be big in order to fit quite a lot of space. And this looks bad, can't fit that in. But clearly this 4 needs to be bigger than I expect. What's wrong with my scaling that this doesn't look like it fits? It's like literally a 2x scale. And wait, you idiot. That's the 7. This is the 7. This is the 4. But wait, even scaling this is usually even worse. This is a 4x4. I can only scale this to an 8x8, which is already more than the whole grid. Although I do love the idea there's the empty spaces within. I mean, that's cool. God, it's so teasy that the 7 actually does fit the top, you know? Maybe there's some cursed diagonal again, even though I could hardly imagine such a thing. Hmm. I don't know how these coincidences keep happening, but I have 47 Discord pings right now. Abduck.